In the early 21st century, magic reawakened on Earth, and alongside it a new human race with orcs, elves, trolls, dwarves, and others. Humanity became meta-humanity. As technology proliferated and greatly advanced in the awakened world, global megacorporations seized ever more power, becoming de facto states with their own laws, courts, and armed forces. The corporations attempt to control all aspects of modern life. This has led to a vast and complex criminal underground which works for and against corporate interests. The independent career criminals who do what others can't or won't are called Shadowrunners. The year is 2101. Welcome to Fun City.
Previously on Fun City, the team is hired to blackmail the NYPD police union negotiator Vern Solex, hoping to stop a strike he's architecting. But Vern explains that things are more complicated than they know. He says the Vladivostok-based biotechnology megacorporation Evo, the largest AAA megacorp in New York City, is experimenting on police. He says a strike is the only way to stop them. In a meeting at the swanky police union headquarters, the team is plied with beverages, and Vern offers to hire them and spill the beans on all he knows about Evo's plot, which he admits isn't much. This on two conditions. First, they cancel their contract with Mo Ashina, who's given the team an extra day to finish, but who has also made clear her waning confidence in their intentions. And second, they must do one small job. Head to Morgantown and convince a lawyer, Odina Loulax, to stop messing with the NYPD strike plans. In return, Vern will also guarantee incriminating security footage of melted detection mage Cairn Holbrook will cause no further grief. We'll join the team momentarily as they approach Morgantown, but first, a bit of background on their destination. Morgantown is a massive, floating, and ever-growing rhizomatic city on the former site of Bushwick, Brooklyn. It's over 1,000 acres in area and constantly growing to accommodate new owners, renters, residences, and businesses. Against the black-green waters of the Brooklyn Archipelago, Morgantown is clearly visible from space. It's made up of many different floating and fixed structures, housing everything from cramped single-bed units to spacious, glass-lined penthouses. Buildings are between 1 and 20 stories, with hundreds of different entrances on both the interior and exterior of the flotilla. It is a town in loose terms, but also, technically, a corporation, though nothing like the AAA megacorps you would find in Manhattan. Morgantown is a resident-owned collective with a complex bureaucracy aimed at maintaining self-sufficiency. Pursuant to the Shiawase decision of 2001, as a corporation, Morgantown may remain sovereign as long as it produces a certain amount of consumer goods. In this case, food and healthcare for its residents. It has its own laws, police force, and tax code. It has its own rotating corporate board, a public operating budget, and it is well known for a number of celebrity residents, past and present. It is, in many ways, the crown jewel of the Brooklyn Archipelago. Near the Mrs. Egg, the team boards the skimmer, which Gabe has outfit with its own navigation system tuned to the charts of New York City's waterways, and they head out to the archipelago and to Morgantown. The skimmer approaches Morgantown and sort of, dips into an inlet between two of these very large buildings that make up the flotilla, that make up the town. And the skimmer just takes you deep into this maze of buildings. You can see the sun beaming through various crisscrossed gaps between all of the structures. The skimmer sort of dips in and out of all of these pools of light. The pathways are variously narrow and wide, and every once in a while you take a turn, you come into these huge, almost town square-like spaces that are big open waterways with lots of traffic. You can see people working on their balconies. You can see all of these little terraces. From the outside, Morgantown looks really bleak. It's traced over with a lot of undecorated ladders and fire escapes. It's got a lot of surveillance equipment on its outside. It's festooned with all of these spotlights and guards' quarters. But the interior is very different. Much of the surface of every building is draped with greenery, with all of these public platforms at stepped heights throughout. You pass through low-lying, genetically engineered rice paddies. You think you see some corn up in a high, far corner. You can see a small group of residents wearing high-vis Morgantown Department of Public Works vests, and they're working on this. They're working on a floating platform in one of those large open waterway areas. They're trimming some really large, brightly lit trees that are growing out of a giant planter that's in the center of the open waterway. You also see, as you're driving around, a couple Morgantown Police Department boats, and what you notice is that, much like most of the NYPD, they are also unarmed, but you also notice that it appears as though there is equal distribution here amongst the metahuman races, and that you see a lot of orcs, you see some dwarves, you don't see any trolls, but also the boats are small, so who knows what that's about. It's hard to make things for trolls, they're quite large, but it's not just humans, and in your experience in New York City, you would know that most police officers that you interact with are humans. The skimmer takes you left down one pathway, takes you right down another pathway, sort of circles further and further, gets deep into this maze of buildings, and it slows down in front of a very short water-level pier. And about half a dozen dinghies with small electric water jet motors are lined up outside. The skimmer settles autonomously in a little space marked Loulax and Partners Client Parking. The pier leads only and directly to a single opaque glass door that is decorated with a honeycomb pattern. And in one of the lower hexagons, you can see, amongst some other names, Odina Loulax, Esquire. It's also been long enough. It was quite a journey getting to the boat and then getting to Morgantown that, Viv, I think your buzz has probably worn off. If you want to say you took a nap on the way there.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. Viv had been laying on one of the couches on the skimmer, just face up and taking in the sun and letting the water splash her in the face, and sobered up over that time.
The rest of us were crowded on the other couch, but we were happy to let you.
She needs her space.
TK was standing up like he was trying to surf. He was just like, yeah.
All right, what's the plan here?
I said we just go in.
We're going to just go and say, hey, we're Shadowrunners hired to get you to make a decision?
I wouldn't lead with that.
Have you guys found anything about her?
Oh, I'll do a quick matrix search for that.
I won't even,
Yeah, I know you're not going to make me roll it.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll. Yeah, what do you want to know? Is there anything specific? Do you just want to know what her deal is?
I want to know what her deal is. I also want to know any weird, what her connections are, does she have any connections to societies in the same way that Vern is connected with the PBA? Does she represent any sort of?
You find, it's very easy to find her website. She has a public presence. It's easy to find some of the cases that she's been involved in because it's all public information. And she takes on a lot of cases that are individuals arguing against corporations. And you can see that she does a lot of work with people trying to hold large companies and large, powerful forces to account.
Does she have any history of suing the PBA?
So one of the other things that you would figure out pretty quickly looking at the history of the cases that she's been involved in, and it's actually plastered very clearly on her website, is that she's been doing this for quite a while. And so you can look and you can see that she's had cases with and against the NYPD Incorporated long into the past, like a couple decades. You don't see anything recently related to the PBA, if that's what you're looking for. She has been involved in legal disputes with NYPD Incorporated in the past.
I guess I just relayed the relevant information to our teammates.
What about personal information, where she lives, contacts, who she knows, family?
I check out if she has a SoundCloud.
She's not uploading sick beats onto the Matrix.
Onto
Right.
Tune Bumper.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, she does not. She is not a hip hop producer.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I look for the other stuff that Luxe was talking about like, like where does she live? What's the publicly information, like what's available about her relationships to other people?
That I'm going to make you roll for.
Okay. I got dice. 3 hits.
Most of the stuff that you find is pretty publicly available because, again, she's not a private person. She does work in public. She works and has lived in Morgantown for a number of decades. It seems like she's been here for a while. It seems like her law practice has been here for a while, and it's been in operation for probably about maybe 30 years. She's been on the Morgantown board a couple times because they do elections pretty frequently, and they change around the different responsibilities. The board shrinks and the board grows. They try different committees. So she's been on a bunch of committees. You can find out that she is a member of the Lenape tribe, and she seems to have done a lot of work. Like I said, she seems to have done a lot of work with individuals who are otherwise just trying to hold powerful forces to account.
Exactly how we expect, but I think we should just go meet her.
Should we do any kind of ploy when we meet her? I mean, we're just walking into her office. She's not going to want it. She's probably going to be a busy woman.
Certainly
Yes.
won't be using my real name.
I mean, we could pretend like we need some legal advice.
You
Because
guys
we
don't-
always need legal advice.
You guys don't say your names at all, please.
I think-
Don't show her your fingerprints.
I plan to just stand in the corner menacingly.
So the problem with trying to con someone blind like this is we don't know what she wants. And if we take a guess at what she would want or what would intimidate her, and we're wrong, then we're stuck. So we might want to have a genuine conversation with this lady and find out what she actually wants.
Okay, you take the lead.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, you got it, Luxe.
You're good at talking. You can do this.
So you guys want to go in and say that we are looking for legal advice on what?
Maybe someone conned you out of all of your money and belongings. And you did follow through with it
Right.
and gave it to them. But now you're thinking, well, maybe
Mhm.
our handshake wasn't necessarily a binding contract.
Right.
I don't know, this is just spitballing here.
Okay, so
was
the idea...
the person a corporation? Maybe could we spin it that way? The corporation took all your money.
Oh, it's very much a
So the idea
14-year-old
is to
boy.
put a case in front of her that's so attractive that she abandons her life work for whatever type of justice she's pursuing and tries to help Lash get her things back from a teenager / corporation.
I believe in your skill to try to figure out what she needs. I don't know if we need this plan, but if you think it'll help us get in the door, sure.
We can have it in the back pocket.
All right, let's go talk to her.
Let's go.
Door noise.
Okay. Taylor, do you want to provide a door noise?
I just like hearing you say door noise.
Door noise. So when you swing the door open, you are hit by a blast of warm, humid air and the sound of many electronics whirring. And you see what was once a very large, white-walled room. In it, there are a number of people standing around a long table that's piled really high with paper and e-paper, books, tablets, comlinks, cyberdecks, handheld recording devices, all kinds of stuff. The table is just ringed with, you can see an orc, you can see a couple elves, a couple humans. The walls of the office are lined with boxes that are labeled with various names and numbers. It all seems very organized, but it's all kind of like teetering on the edge of being too much. Like everything looks like it's all just about ready to fall over. And in the back corner, you see, after you've been in there for maybe 2 seconds, the source of the hot air and the whirring is that there is a very large server rack that occupies a space that is roughly the size of the skimmer. So there's like a big chunk of servers that are all kind of like blinking. There's like a nice little blue light.
TK starts salivating a little bit.
It's not state of the art, but there's a lot of it.
That's even better.
Yeah, okay. Like sort of vintage. You're like, ooh, nice. And you can see, sort of not closest to you, but within a few feet of the entrance, standing at the table is a smallish woman that TKU would probably recognize from having seen her photos looking around the Matrix. She's about 5'2". She's facing away from you, but you can tell that her complexion is dark, and she has medium length hair that you can tell was like once dark black, but now is kind of salt and pepper. It's some liberal gray strands sprinkled throughout. And as soon as she hears the door open, she turns around very carefully, and you can see that in her arms she has piles of folders and e-paper tablets, and she's got a comlink draped over her shoulder, and she's wearing like a long blue-gray cardigan, and she sees you and she says, "Oh, sorry, my caseload is very full," and she looks you up and down and she says, "I do not practice criminal defense any longer. If you would like a referral, I will gladly send you to my colleague Desmond. He is a very skilled attorney." And she looks directly at Viv and makes a little quizzical sort of look, and she says, "And he does know a thing or two about the Awakened. He will treat you, no doubt, very well. If you have been wronged, you do deserve good counsel."
Well, that's really nice of you to say, and trust me, we've gotten it before, but we actually don't need any criminal defense whatsoever.
Oh, then which of my employees are you here to threaten?
Oh, we're not here to threaten anyone. I'm sorry. I'm just looking for Odina.
Yes, you are speaking to her.
Oh, that's so great. Oh, yes. I was wondering if you had a few minutes to speak.
I don't.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was sent here. My name is Tom York, and I I represent a consortium of people, many of which work for major corporations, who stand to make a lot of money if the police union strike went through. Apparently, there's a clause that they would have to renegotiate all contracts, and there are many megacorps who'd like to sweep in, make money. Before I took up the task, I had several people actually tell me to speak with you first. I was told there may be some ethical implications here, and I may not actually want to be supporting the strike. And I was told to talk to you to see if that was the case. I was told you oppose it, and I'd like to hear from the source why you do.
Roll your con.
Okay.
What is the opposed for this?
The oppose on con is...
It's charisma plus negotiation? Is that what it is?
If you have con or negotiation, you could use that plus intuition. And I'm rolling 14.
So what you said was that you were representing some people who would make money if they did strike?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm saying that the other corporations, like the non-Evos that currently...
them to strike.
So I want them to strike.
And
I was told by...
she's against the
She's
strike.
against the strike.
Right.
So I was
like
told by people, you might not want to oppose the strike. There may be some ethical implications there. You might want to go talk to Odina about that. So so we're all clear on our team. I'm not telling her anything that is trying to trick her or anything.
Yep.
I am just trying to make sure she is as open as possible about telling us why the strike is wrong as possible. That's all this con is about.
I think her perception is very high.
But
is his con stronger?
But he's got two.
I think I might use an edge because I only got 2.
She's been practicing law for 35 years.
Yeah, it might not be worth it to use an edge.
All right, I'll take 2.
It's fine. No, do it.
Because how much edge do you have? Is
The only thing that you need to do to get more edge is basically to
Play the game.
pun or play Luxe to his maximum. Yeah,
It's so beneath them.
Yeah,
the pun edge is so beneath this cast.
Whenever Taylor groans is how I know we've done a good job.
I'll take 2.
Are you sure, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she actually didn't do that well.
Get her, drag her, king.
Look at this.
She glitched.
No,
No.
but she did not do well.
These dice are
These
rigged.
dice.
Ty goes to the Shadowrunner.
Oh, no way. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Tell me just in game terms, sort of what you want her to be. You want her to be willing.
In game terms, we know nothing. We asked Vern what was her deal. Why was she trying to stop it? We know nothing about it. if I go up to her and I say, I'm working for Vern to stop you, you're not going to be very open to telling me anything about what you're doing. What I want to do is set up the fact, what I've tried to do here is set up the fact that I'm potentially on your side or potentially against it. I don't know. There's a possible vested interest for me and my cohorts here. We want to know if there's ethical implications to supporting the strike. Mm-hmm. You seem against it. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to get it, and I'm trying to start from a neutral point to learn what you are, because again, like I said, I cold con to actually try to get you to change your thing, I don't think works. Or I could try to do it, but I didn't.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what I will say is this: in game terms, the strike is not public, and there is no public information about her thoughts on it. As far as you know, the number of people who know about the strike is maybe twice the number of people who know about it in the room you're currently in.
Right. Okay.
So accordingly, as soon as you mention the PBA and the policeman strike, she gives you a very strange look, and she squints a little bit, and she asks, "How do you know about the policeman strike? Who did you say sent you? A consortium of corporations interested in, I'm sorry, who are you?"
I cannot talk about all the corporations that I potentially could work with, because again, like I said, we have not begun working with them. We are potentially going to make the strike public. The possibility of a strike public to drum up public support, because it seems like it may or may not happen at this point. Before that happens, before I get involved and my associates here get involved, I have been told on good authority that I might not want to even be dealing with this at all. This might be a complete clusterfuck that I don't even want to mess with. I've been told to speak with you and find out why you're against it. That's all I've been told. If you've got nothing to share with me, you've got nothing to share with me. But I am telling you, as honest as I can, that I just want to know why you oppose the strike.
Nick, do you remember off the top of your head what the role for Judge Intentions is?
Yes. Charisma plus intuition.
Really?
Well, I also would want to know exactly what you were in judging, because the last sentence I said is true. So
yeah, I think that's what she's trying to figure out. She is. So
yeah.
I will make this very clear.
Yeah.
As you're describing this to her, the way that she is looking at you, you as an expert in reading people can tell that she is not inclined to believe any words that's coming out of your mouth. She is very suspicious of you.
Yeah.
I think that you can chalk this up to don't bullshit a bullshitter.
Yeah.
She has spent her life talking to people and convincing them of things, and she can tell someone who's very good at it. And I think her professional acumen has led her to be immediately suspicious of someone who is a good talker. So that is why she's trying to judge your intentions, because the fact that you are good at this is something that tips her off to, there's a reason you're good at this.
Right.
And I wonder what that is.
Yes, makes sense.
So I'm not metagaming you. I'm just gonna roll one specific thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Listen, I think it's very simple. They have a contract problem. The people who are trying to foment a strike in the Policemen's Benevolence Association, it's like when all you have is a hammer, all your problems look like nails. If they think that Evo is doing something wrong, and they think that there are people who are in danger, they need to renegotiate their contract. They don't need to abuse the power of a union. And what's more, who knows what will happen to this city if the police go on strike? Historically, crime has gone down when the police have gone on strike.
Well,
but I would really rather not find out what happens when the whole of the NYPD police force doesn't have something to focus their attention every day. Truthfully, the thing I'm worried the most about is the corporations. What do they do when their main security provider isn't around to enforce their laws, to protect their sovereign land? Does Ares become the de facto law force of the entire city when every corporation takes out a contract with knight-errant security? And if so, I can't imagine that is an amount of power that anybody would give up so easily. Or does every corporation simply roll in their own private army and navy? we've done a lot in this city, and I have done a lot in my career to create a federation of corporate-sponsored neighborhoods that are willing to work together. And it has not always been that way. And as much as it is important to hold the NYPD to account, I can't help but wonder what would happen in the power vacuum that is created were they to go on strike.
It sounds like you know.
Who did you say sent you?
I am not at liberty to say at the moment. I understand that makes it hard for you to answer questions, but I have one more. If you can answer it, you can. If you can't, you can't. I understand that. It sounds like you know about Evo and what they may be doing. Do you understand that this strike is a way to immediately sever that contract? Immediately. Not years of litigation, not decades of this back and forth, not you could keep fucking with people's minds for the next 6 months or year or 2 years, and God knows who's going to pay for the repercussions of that. Immediately. Done. Evo out.
She turns around and looks at her employees, some of whom have stopped doing their work and who are listening to the sermon that you're giving, basically. And she walks back to the table from the middle of the room where she's standing in front of the door, and she puts down her large pile of like heavy electronics and e-paper and, tablets that she's holding, and she puts it down, and you can tell she's gathering herself, and she says, "Why don't you join me in my office?" And she walks to your left and starts walking through a door. And as she walks through it, she stops and she removes the comlink that you saw on her shoulder, that, some of the wires are kind of dangling around. Part of it is attached over the side of her ear. And she places it in a small golden bowl that's atop like a cubby box that's to the right of her door. And she says, "If you could please leave your electronics outside, it will ensure that we'll be able to have a private conversation." And she goes into the office.
Viv takes a moment to untangle the seashell and kelp from underneath her caftan, and it kind of clatters on the floor while she's trying to grab the other parts. But she does contribute to the bowl.
Lash puts her extremely broken, not in use comlink that does not function in the bowl because she does not need comlink, but she wears one because she doesn't want to be looked at.
It takes TK a second to decide what he's going to do because he's like, I don't know if I should.
You can roll to see if you trust her. You could ask your teammates. I mean,
yeah, I think he saw how she, saw right through Luxe's spiel and kind of cut through to it. I think he's inclined to trust her, but he's also like, I don't know. I don't know how long he's ever been without his deck.
She pokes her head out of the door and gestures at your arm and is like, obviously some of it is okay to come in.
I think he just puts it in his arm, like his comlink. I mean, his deck is still in his arm, but I guess he takes off his comlink and puts it in.
Okay.
So it's, I don't know what that. Those are two separate items. I don't know what that.
Yeah, those are
like.
two separate items. Yeah.
Okay. So he leaves his comlink there.
Lux puts his comlink in the bowl.
So you walk in through the door, and it's a very small room with a tiny desk that is mostly filled with actual pieces of paper, like printed, wood pulp paper. And this room is much more austere than the room that you just came from. There's not much in it at all. You can tell that this is maybe kind of like the thinking zone. Like this is the escape from the hectic situation that's happening out in the main room with all of her employees and the server and the huge piles of paper. And there aren't enough chairs for all of you, but there's, some windowsill that you can perch on. There's a single window in the room. And she sits behind her small wooden desk, doesn't have any drawers in it. It's just a very sort of simple plank of wood with some metal legs on it. And she kind of just sits expectantly and looks at you all and waits for you to say the next thing that you have to say.
Lux looks around at the surroundings and kind of ponders out loud. You're not doing any of this for the money, are you?
No. If I were doing things for the money, I would be a corporate lawyer and not a corporate lawyer.
I don't know if I've ever met a non-corporate lawyer.
There are not many of us.
Viv is like scratching her head, and she leans against the door frame, crossing her arms like, oh.
Well, you could be making millions. Why do you do this?
In the making of millions, you lose many other things.
TK is immediately reminded of the affirmations from Jazz.
Top of
Are you flashing back to Mountaintop Gates?
Yes.
Mountaintop Gates Incorporated. The only zen at the top of the mountain is the zen you bring with you.
You bring with you.
TK is smiling to himself. He doesn't mention this to anybody.
It is. I really want her to have a witty aphorism ready, but unfortunately, I am playing someone who is far above my weight class in both wisdom and poise. So forgive me.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Just pretend to have poise.
So much of the world is so far gone already, and what stands between us now and even further social collapse is a very fine line. And I am just one person, but I try to do the best that I can, and I find that it helps me sleep at night if I don't work for the people who can provide the millions. And you do or do not work for the people who have money. You'll have to forgive me.
Yes.
It is not that I'm not interested in what you have to say. It's that I haven't heard from any of your colleagues. And so I would like to know, are you his bodyguards?
Lash Goodbog, nice to meet you. Immediately show my fingerprints, which are now replaced with mini muffins.
Like literal mini muffins?
Literal mini muffins.
How dumb is Lash? I understand that maybe some like futuristic printing of fingerprints might give them some kind of appearance that could theoretically be described as muffin-esque. But to take a muffin top off and put it on your fingers is like drank mercury and ate lead chips for 20 years as a kid.
Okay. Stupid. Sure. But she does say, Lash Goodbog, nice to meet you. Because Lash immediately trusts
everybody.
Not everybody, but she gets a good feel. She also does not care about money. She does things because, it feels right. So she immediately, when she walked in there and she saw there was paper everywhere and just like immediately also knew that she wasn't doing it for the money, she was like, you know what? She kind of jumped in front of Lex. Was like, hi, I'm Lash.
She very quickly and easily puts out her hand and shakes. So
no,
there's
not really muffins. There's not really muffins there. That was more of just like inside little.
Be.
Yeah, no. She just has normal hands.
Hold on, I'm gonna roll her strength.
Yeah.
The handshakes. Yeah, it's she's an old lady. You get when you go in for the handshake, and you kind of get a closer look at her face, and you actually like touch her hand. Yeah, she's getting on. You can see she's got her face is pretty well wrinkled. You also do notice actually, since you're the first person who like got really close to her.
Yeah.
Her left iris sort of like twists and focuses and flashes in a way that only slightly older cybernetic technology does. And you actually do notice a very well healed but like very old scar that goes from the edge of her left eye to back behind her ear.
Okay.
I think TK walks up and says TK and then holds out his fist for a fist bump.
She bumps your fist. Haven't done one of those in quite a while.
TK just nods.
Hello, I've been hired as nonviolent protection, which I think is completely unnecessary for today.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear that. I like the word nonviolent. And what did you say your name was? I'm sorry, I'm not sure that I caught it.
My name is Luxe. I wasn't being completely honest with you about my name, nor about who I was working for. Okay, I do have interest I'm working for that are interested in the strike. I was being honest with you there. We don't know anything about it. And so I am literally here to talk to you about why you oppose it, because you bring up a good point about supporting the corporations. But I have to be honest with you, you supporting not striking is also supporting all of those corporations in power right now and using funds from the police to fund things like Evo is doing, which also I don't know.
Let's go one at a time.
Yes.
So who did send you here? Or are you here of your own volition?
I would honestly say I'm here of my own volition.
Con me. Unless you don't think that's a con roll.
I don't think it is because
I mean,
I'm
yeah. In the midst of your just doing other things.
Like straight up charm? Diplomacy?
Yeah, I actually think maybe charm. Yeah, charm. Yeah, charm me.
Straight up charm.
Just straight up charisma?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, charisma.
Sorry, yeah, charisma. It's fine.
Wrong game.
No one calls it charm. Charm's a spell. We're having fun.
I got 2 hits.
Okay. But you are, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've been doing this for quite a while. You are Shadowrunners, are you not?
We're private contractors.
So yes.
Yes.
And this is not on, you are not, as they say, on a run at the moment, or you are.
We're not on a run at the moment. Exactly.
That's it. But if you add it exactly, do you have to make a deception check?
Anything could be a run if you think about it.
We're here to try to encourage you to help the strike along. But I am genuinely here to find out why you oppose it. I do not know. I'm not. That is 100% my intention here. I had one rule for these guys, which is to not use their real names, and they broke that immediately. I don't know how long the con could have lasted. So I am here openly telling you I do genuinely want to know why you want to stop the strike.
Got it.
TK does point out that he did not use his real name. So it's them, not me,
Thank you.
that you have to blame.
Viv did not say her name.
Lash said her full first name, last name.
Lash, good to meet you.
Yeah.
Okay, you see her face go from quizzical and sort of nonplussed to a kind of reserved understanding. She's like, "Okay, I think I see what's going on here." Is the look that you get from her, and she says, "It's actually not too different from what I just said. The strike is the misuse of power by a force that is already misused. The police union is a very powerful entity that has lots of control in the city. They are amongst some of the most powerful people in New York. And if they wanted to take on Evo, if they wanted to take on As Technology, if they wanted to give Seder Krupp a run for their money, they partnered with those companies decades ago in order to rebuild the city. For them to claim that the only way for them to solve a problem that they have is to go on strike and to create God knows how many other problems is either stupidity or cowardice. And I happen to know some of the people who run the PBA, and I know that they are not stupid. So I think that they are being cowardly. And if they want to solve this problem, which surely goes far, far beyond the police officers and the Police Benevolence Association, then they should do what they are charged with doing, and they should protect this city. They should use their power to protect the city, not to run away from protecting it. And that is why I am against them putting together this cockamamie strike. They're going to solve a problem by creating more problems. And it's just, in my line, you know, as they say, you hate to see it.
Listen, this is what I'm seeing. Luxe is coming out big on this one. I'm seeing that we're both on I think we're all on the same team here. We
when Lash says that, what is the vibe in the room in that beat of silence?
Viv is just undecided. She just has no idea because at this point, like, where is she going to get her next paycheck?
I mean, TK is just like projecting a "don't look at me" vibe. He's just like, nah.
As I read the room, I'm looking to my left, I'm looking to my right. What I'm seeing is we're all on the same side here. We just all maybe are confused on the way to get there. We are looking to get to the bottom of what's going on with Evo. And we found that this is the way to do it. And you also want to get to the bottom of what's going on at Evo. So I would like to hear how you propose that this would happen without the strike.
I'd also like to propose something.
A toast?
We can't.
I'm sorry, I'm currently at work.
Right.
Oh, okay.
We can't drink anymore today, okay?
Yes, agreed.
Viv, how are you feeling, Viv?
I'm feeling confused.
Okay.
You look a little blue, but maybe that's just how you normally look.
It is.
Our employer has promised me inside access to exactly what's going on with Evo. We need to stop you, encourage you to stop, is trying to stop the strike in order for us to take that next step. What I propose is that we work on the inside with you to get everything you would need from Evo, from their servers, from their company. If we all got to infiltrate there, hack them, impersonate them, we are shadow runners and we're actually good at it despite everything we're doing here right now. And I get the feeling that you don't have a lot of resource like that. And to put together a case against Evo, you're going to need it. I'm proposing we work together. And the only way forward I can see is for you to lay off the PBA.
She's a very clever lady who's somewhat confused by this situation.
Yeah, she didn't get much sleep last night.
Yeah, I think she's been working in the office in that human room with that giant computer system running.
Are these the nicest Shadowrunners she's ever met?
I think so. I think she's like really does not know how to read this situation and is having a very hard time knowing what anybody's intentions are and like how this has possibly come to pass. She doesn't look, she's not upset by it. She's not upset by the offer. She is a little confused. And she says, this is a lot to take in, and I would perhaps need a moment to think about it. But one thing that is clear, and I would like to be clear about right off the bat, is that I am not in a position to hire anybody on several fronts. The first being, as you may have noticed, we are not well resourced at my company. Most of the people you saw in the front room are volunteers. They are community college students from Morgantown. They are people who come in from other parts of the city who are trying to get their family members off death row. They are people who they think that their friends are wrongfully imprisoned and they're trying to work on cases to get them freed. I can't pay you anything. And the second is that as a legal representative, I can't be employing criminals. I know that we live in times where you would think that people would do what it takes, but I cannot shepherd a group of criminals through criminal activities. If you have an interest in helping, and I would guess that you are here because you thought you were helping, and it is maybe even the case that whoever it is that sent you also thinks that they are helping, I will do whatever I can to assist. I do not know that we can work together in the sense of I cannot build a case from what you bring me, but if I can be a resource to you, and you think that we are in agreement in what the right course of action is, then yes, I will take that assistance. I can't use any information that is gained through illegal means, but there are perhaps different areas in this challenge that both of us can cover, as long as far as I know, your involvement remains nonviolent. And she looks at Viv.
Viv bows with a flourish.
Then I think that, yes, it is possible that we could work together. I mean, I had not before this moment considered, to be perfectly honest, I was kind of just fucking with the PBA because I don't like them and I am in a position to cause them trouble. And sometimes that is my job. It is to slow the roll of people who would do harm to the citizenry of the city. But if you come from a place of knowledge and you think that there is something that we can do and we can hold Evo to account, then yes, I'm listening.
What we've done before in terms of working together is, have you ever heard of a tree trunk in the forest? Sometimes when people want things...
She leans forward.
Sometimes when people want things, they write them down on pieces of paper and they put them in a tree trunk in the forest. And they're not working with anybody who's in the forest at all. But the things that they write on those pieces of paper do come true. So TK has a special spot that we call the tree trunk that he could give you access to. This is completely untraceable. He's very good at doing things like that. Anything you want, put it in the tree trunk. We might not do anything with it. It might be completely law-abiding organizations that do. You don't know.
Sometimes we put recipes for pancakes
Recipes
in there.
for pancakes. Great. Yes, Lash. Thank you. You could find things in the tree trunk.
Secret recipes.
Really good ones.
There is a Lash folder in the tree trunk.
Yes. Does that sound like something that could work for you?
I'm unfamiliar. I'm unfamiliar with the argot of the tree trunk, but yes, I have heard of a dead drop before.
Okay. All right. I was trying not to use any term that could get you in trouble. But yes.
I guess I think TK just starts coding one up
Okay.
during this meeting.
Hold on, she's going to roll again. It also dawns on me that we have maybe gotten caught up in a process level discussion.
Sure.
And while we both agree that something must be done about Evo, we have not discussed about what exactly it is that needs doing about. When you talk about the problems at Evo, you mean the people who have changed.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Can you tell us what you know about the people who have changed?
That's what I know.
That's about what we know.
Okay.
And that's a problem.
So maybe the first thing that you can do, Vern sent you.
Someone that goes by that name is familiar to us.
Okay. Yes. I see a plan is coming together. I understand now. I will stop troubling Vern. I have a busy caseload anyways. I can't push through any further action. Everything that I've been doing up until this point, I've just been trying to dissuade him and trying to make a point. But, I will be happy to just lay off if you think that what you can do is to actually find out who some of these people are and to do the best that you can to get a statement from them. Or, even better, convince them to come to me and give me a statement.
The people who have changed or the people who...
I think it will be quite a while before you have any contact with anyone at Evo who is doing
Right.
whatever is resulting in this. So I think that it is likely that you will be able to find out from the PBA who some of the affected parties are. And once you have a sense of who those people are, we will likely be able to figure out who else has been afflicted.
Yes.
Because my guess, it is never just the police. It is never just one group of people. It is likely a much larger problem, and this is, I can't believe I'm going to say this, the tip of the iceberg.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, they used to be
were
around
large, frozen. God damn it!
Just like balloons. Just like
Nash
balloons.
I think you
Equilibrium.
used to bring them to birthday parties
Oh,
to
right.
celebrate.
Yes. You had to blow them
Have
out.
you heard of
Yes.
have you heard of the Brooklyn Archipelago, the place that we are right now
Yes.
with all of this water used to be those.
I see. We're just in the tip of them right now, aren't we? I get it. That's a perfect analogy. Okay. Well, thank you so much. My grandfather, and you seem to know a lot about unions.
I have
was-
done a fair amount of labor
He was
law,
in
yes.
the train catchers union. Did you ever work for them?
From when the AI took over
Yeah.
and they needed to formulate a union in
Yes.
roughly 24 hours
Yeah.
in order to represent the laborers to catch the trains. Yes, I did.
Buckle up, we're in Luxe storyteller mode about his grandfather.
I don't need to tell you the story. I just want to say thank you.
I feel like TK at this point, knowing what's going to happen, sends Vern a message saying it's done, CCing everybody else on his comm.
Well, so what, how do you want this to work in game terms? Like, let me know, like, as people who are sitting at the table,
I
like,
think-
what are you interested in doing? What's cool to you as a relationship with Odina? And then let's make it official in the game.
I mean, it seems like she knows a lot of people and contacts.
You'd be a very valuable contact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we get her information, convince her to trust us, and we did the second thing. So
Okay.
no, we stayed. I think we promise to keep her abreast of what's going on as much as we can in the Vern part of it.
Lux's opinion I've just been stating, which is I
Yeah.
care primarily about finding out what's going on with Evo and getting to the bottom of it. It sounds like could be a great resource and working together with. So I genuinely was like, yeah, let's work together. But I guess we should all be sure we agree on that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she explains, when you have things that you think I should know, or you need information from me, let's communicate via the tree trunk. I'm not going to give you my comm number. If you would like to come back to the office, you may, but don't darken my doorstep. Don't cause any trouble when you're here. And if you can, please give notice when you're on your way.
Sounds good to me.
Viv puts her hands together and says, understood.
TK's like, full disclosure, I still have to code up this tree trunk, but as soon as we get it, well, I have a prototype here, but as soon as we get it working.
Lash, any last questions?
How legally binding is a handshake when you bet all of your belongings in a foot race?
In the state of New York, a verbal contract is legally binding for 6 years.
6 years till I can get my dog back.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Perhaps.
How old was the dog when you lost him?
12 years old.
Perhaps I was unclear. It is not that the contract is in force for 6 years and then the terms reverse. It is
I got you loud and clear.
I'm sure we will have plenty of opportunity to discuss all of your various legal problems.
Well, that would be great. Thank you very much.
All right. Let's go get back on that iceberg.
Yeah.
Icebergs away.
Let's go fuck this chicken.
You guys leave the office?
Yeah.
So as you leave, you pick up all of your comm links. You are sort of like vaguely sized up by the employees, by her volunteer employees as you leave. They don't say anything to you, but a couple of them kind of look you up and down. They all look pretty normal. So to you, to them, you are very glamorous. You have a kind of lifestyle and life experience that is very different from them. And for some of them, I think that you represent the kind of iconic image that led some of the people that they love into ruin and into an unfortunate situation. So I think that there is a large range of very, very palpable reactions to your presence in this place.
Viv is the last one to leave, and she holds the door open a little bit. Just looks around the room, just very quickly, waves a hand a little bit, so some of the humidity in the air surges toward the doorway, cooling it off maybe 1 degree.
That's nice.
Pretty cool, Shrek.
Nice
A
touch.
nice thing you did.
That is nice.
You did a nice thing for them.
Odina gives you just a slight wave as you leave and says, "We'll be in touch. We'll be in Tree Trunk."
See you on the big TT.
Ahoy there, chummers. It's me, your favorite bad boy, Tito Telo Mo, and I am here to tell you that there is a whole galaxy of exciting entertainment beyond what you are even experiencing now, and it's all the secret private things we make available to those who support us on Patreon. It's a club, it's a family, it's a cruise ship full of people with like minds and sensibilities who have access to things like outtakes, insane, ridiculous outtakes that we cannot even publish in a normal episode. But also crazy stuff from the world, the deep dive into the rules, the character sheets, conversations from Mike and I about how we run the game, conversations with characters, a whole other show called Fun Chatting where we talk about the show, great stuff like that. Even like music stuff, high quality audio files of the actual feed so you can hear the music as it is meant to be heard. All this and more, including our really rad Discord for you at patreon.com/FunCityVentures. Patreon, get your head in the game.
You guys are kind of in free play at the moment. Do whatever. What do you want to do?
I mean, I think TK is gonna, work on the tree trunk because
Yeah.
We go home to the Mrs. Egg.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
because we have stuff to do.
If you want to do the first of several software tests, right now, we can just say, let's say you have to write a piece of software that's essentially Keybase.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that's what it is. That's
single
what it is,
user
yeah.
Keybase.
yeah, I mean, I can spin this up in 20 minutes now.
But I think if you want to use something that is legitimately homebrew,
Okay.
I would say that you're
Well, we got to start a Trello board.
Yeah.
you got to
need a
figure.
dev-
You got to argue
Yeah,
about
I
which
think-
project management software you're going to
Well,
use.
yeah, we got to have a roadmap and we got to
first of
have a
all-
map to map it on.
So can you
Asana.
open the folder? No? Okay, send me the thing again.
Could there be like a social aspect to the platform?
Yeah. Likes, shares.
Oh, actually, you know what? I know it hasn't even launched yet, but let's pivot it to video.
It should be
Trio.
video.
Yeah, just roll software,
Is it
Oh.
just software
That makes sense,
but that's connected to an attribute.
logic? Yeah, so I guess I have 8.
What feels to you, Bijan, like a fair number of cumulative hits over a number of tests for you to successfully build this?
So if it's just for us, like if it's just the 4 of us plus Odina that needs access, I don't think it's super hard or too complicated. I mean, I guess the hardest part IRL or whatever would be the like security aspect, probably.
Do you want to say like, and you could say even that is handled by its own role when you're transferring things, which is fun in game terms because if you fuck up that encryption role, then like some shit isn't encrypted for some reason. I would say, yeah, if you want to have it be consistently very encrypted, you could roll once a day and you could roll that dice pool once a day. And I would ask you to get to 10 hits.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Like you're like basically baking your own PGP algorithm,
Yeah.
you know.
I think it's just 8 dice.
That sounds right.
That is 4 hits.
All right.
Nice.
Tell me what that's like on the. So you guys are on the skimmer, going back to the Mrs. Egg.
Yeah, TK is just he's sitting on the on one of the benches in a corner. He's sort of like looking out over the spray into the middle distance and just sort of like typing on nothing. And I think he's doing a lot of matrix searches to figure out what he needs, what kind of thing, the way he needs to build it, and like the best way to do it. And he's like deep into message boards right now, trying to figure out like people have done this before.
Programming. Yeah.
He's just like
reading forums.
Yeah, he's like grabbing bits of code from here and there. Because I think he's also feeling good about it because he doesn't get to do this stuff very often. So he's like, yeah, this will be a fun project. But yeah, he's also just not talking to anybody, and it's sort of he's got one tab open. Not I guess like I don't know how like I don't think tabs would be. It'd be like one like floating window.
Yeah.
That's just like
one's face.
Yeah, just AR overlaid on top of it.
Viv is sitting on the boat, kind of cross-legged, like thinking about the agreements she's made today. She's basically been neutered, but she's trying to meditate on the way home.
Lash is actually thinking about because she knows time is ticking and tomorrow morning is coming closer. If the conversation they had with Gabe about Yuri, she had always had such a good feeling about Yuri, and now is feeling like, especially learning the knowledge that he killed a bunch of technomancers, feeling not so great about Yuri.
How does that, does that thought combine at all with Lash's feeling about seemingly liking Odina?
It's not. It's not, but because maybe she hasn't gotten there yet.
Sure.
She's just like kind of taken aback about. She's not at the point of like she's judging herself of like maybe I jump in a little too quickly about my feelings about people. She just like is. She's not at self-reflection yet. She's more at just like surprise and like, wow, okay. So what do I do now?
You guys pull up. It's about a 45-minute, hour-long journey. You wheel in and out of the various islands of the Brooklyn Archipelago, and it's starting to get a little darker. Sun is starting to set. You're going around the bottom of Manhattan. You're curling north on the west side, and TK, you do get a response from Vern as you guys are making your way back to the Mrs. Egg. You can see the monuments in the distance, so you're in the home stretch, and the message says,
I just received some great news. It looks like one of the injunctions that Odina has filed has been retracted. Congratulations. Thank you so very much. This is fantastic. You're doing a great job.
And this
A++ would recommend. Hi again. Never worked with Shadowrunners before. Here I am, going so great on the first day.
TK deletes the
message. It's a
voicemail.
You look at the time and it's 20 minutes long.
TK just deletes the message.
He got it immediately after you sent it and called you and then just has been talking to the voicemail the entire time.
TK
Hi, this is Vern. It's Wednesday at 8 p.m.
TK immediately deletes the message and resolves to hack some of Vern's shit as soon as he sees him again, and just vaguely fuck up something in his life.
Just like delete every third photo in his Comlink photo library.
The recorder that you hacked into earlier, you get a notification from it, and it's actually picked up a big recording. It's about 20 minutes long.
So the skimmer pilots you to a dock that is connected to the parking lot where Henley the Bentley is parked. That sort of like destitute, strange little zone with a bunch of empty shipping containers and some broken rotocraft and drones and some busted out old cars and Henley underneath its non-reflective
Tactical
tarp that you cover it in. So you guys are back on home ground. Taylor, if you want to, whenever you're ready, I think if you want to do it now.
Yeah, I think.
And let me know if you want me to read it in.
Sure. Let me ask a question first. Can someone describe for me the immediate environs around where Henley is parked? Are there other cars? Are there dumpsters? Describe the lot where you're picking up this car.
I would let you guys do that. Yeah, if you know generally what it looks like. If you want to add any detail to it.
I think as Mike just said, it's like there's some shipping containers, but it's mostly a bunch of broken down cars and like crashed pieces of like just bits and pieces of technology. But like I think I see it more of as like a sort of a parking lot near a dock where it's like, but it's been totally abandoned. So like that's just people have just left their stuff there. So it's like there's like one empty space, and it's just like that's where Henley parks.
Yeah, and she's got a cover on her.
Yeah. And it's just like piles of metal and shit and drones.
From behind some dumpster pile of stuff, steps a dwarf. He's in head-to-toe fatigues. He has a high and tight haircut, very, very small beard for a dwarf, neatly manicured. He's got like green and tan tactical pouches on his thighs, on his waist, and they are loaded with some mysterious and small but specific gear. He's got heavy combat boots and a big, stubby but unlit cigar is jammed in between his molars on his left side. On his back are 2 sawed-off shotguns you immediately recognize, and at his hip is a sidearm revolver.
It's kind of like almost as long as his legs.
Short and stout, but his hands are up, and he's showing you his palms.
Is this the same dwarf that Yuri brought over?
No, you've never, as far as I know, you've never seen this person.
You've never seen this person.
Cool.
And he's walking over hands up?
Palms out. He's not going for his guns or anything like that.
And it's like we're just slightly past the golden hour at this point.
Yeah.
It's a little humid outside. It's kind of gross.
He's stepping out from behind Henley.
Not behind Henley, from like behind somewhere near Henley.
Like behind a dumpster.
Yeah. Hey now.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey there.
What do you want?
Well, I'd like to talk to you for a second now, if that's all right.
Speak.
Whoa, what is your name and why are you armed?
Well, I'm not armed. Nothing in my hands at all, as you can see.
You have 3 guns on you.
Sure, as I'm sure y'all do too as well. I think it's safe to say that we're all in the same business. Just want to let you know I'm not here to start any trouble.
That's good.
As long as things go all right. Well, I'm here to notify you that your current employer has lost confidence in your ability to fulfill the contract and have initiated another contract with me and my associates.
What's your contract?
Our contract is you. Now, this can go one of many different ways. I think it's best for all of us if you were to give up the biometric data you have on Vern now, let us know where he is, and any sort of deal you struck with him, and the details of said deal, and we'll be on our way. Now, how's that sound?
Who's we?
Funny you should ask.
Does Lash ask this?
Yes.
Someone leaps on top of there's a big rusted orange shipping container next to Henley, and you hear the very particular sound of someone landing on top of it. Seemingly they have leapt from the ground to the top of the shipping container.
Can it please be a superhero landing?
It is not a 3-point landing. It is, in fact, a 2-point landing, 1 point for each of her feet, because in each hand, is a samurai sword. And it is a human woman that is clearly what she is definitely going to call herself, a street samurai. Oi, mate! You want to get snicker snack, bruv? Yeah? You want me run you out with me sticks, yeah? Oi, let me touch you with these metals. You want it? Yeah.
Viv is just disturbed and is massaging her temples.
Oh, that's a bad sign.
The woman begins pacing on the shipping container, sort of sweeping the container with her swords to make sparks.
I think your friend talks backwards. What did she say?
She's not from here. I'll give you that.
So we don't have that data on us.
Yes, you do.
TK's gonna do a matrix perception check to see if there's any any other people around, like any deckers or anything,
Roll it up.
because that shit has fucked us before.
I send a message to Gabe real quick saying what's going on to alert him and the ship security.
He sends a message and he lets you know. He's like, I don't think I'm gonna come and get in the line of fire, but if you guys get in a tight spot, send me a message. I'll try to whip something up right now. The cannons don't work yet, but there's another little thing I've been working on, and if you need it, just let me know. For every hit that you get, Bijan, I will tell you a device that is attached to a human, starting with the ones that are the closest to you.
Cool. This is computer plus intuition. Oh boy. There's that's 6 hits.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did really well. All right, hold on. Let me count that many. The dwarf has the 3 guns on him. He has the 2 sawed-off shotguns, and he's got 1 sidearm. Each of them has a smart link system in it. The woman with the swords has a standard loadout of just the kind of stuff that you would have. She's got a comm link. She's got AR goggles. She's got AR glasses. She doesn't have anything that is that much more complicated. You do see through the haze, kind of like blinking, like it's trying to run silent, but it's having a hard time with maybe like the noise in the neighborhood. But you can see that there is a Erica MCD1 cyber deck online at the end of an empty shipping container.
So TK just says, show yourself at the direction of that deck.
And from around the corner of that container comes a long, lean, and lithe human woman. She's wearing a long black trench coat that looks like it might have cost 3,000 new yen. It does not look tactical. It is just that nice of a black trench coat. She has wraparound, rectangular, blocky, sort of black mirrored shades and a perfect middle part cut at the bottom of her ears, a haircut that looks like it has been medically placed.
A blunt bob? Is that what you're talking about?
There's a sort of a scar down the right side of her face that has been filled in with some sort of metallic material that seems to bleed into what is an obvious cyber eye, glowing from behind her sunglasses. In her hand is her deck. No one even looks back at her, and she doesn't look up from her deck, and she says, "He's looking around."
Is she a mean girl?
She looks at Lash and says, "Huh, I didn't know they made pants with thigh holes that big."
Jeez, that was mean. That was so mean.
She's a big girl.
Viv would like to ascend, so she starts closing her eyes to see if there's any magic users in their crew.
Roll it up.
That is intuition plus my sensing, which is 4 + 4, 8.
I feel like we're gonna have to fuck up some people.
I mean, they have guns. We should be careful.
Viv got 3 hits.
Roll your logic for me. I'm going to give you a chance to get out of this.
3 hits as well.
Wow.
Really? All right. The woman who is on the shipping container is an adept. You can't really tell what her specialties are, but, that much was probably obvious when she jumped 9 feet in the air and landed.
Like a spider.
Yeah, and just landed on her feet. You do also see, describe to me where you're standing.
Viv is still on the skimmer. I think everyone else probably stepped off.
Yeah.
You're all on the dock, and Viv is still the last one as usual.
And who amongst you is closest to the dwarf?
Maybe me.
Okay.
Would there?
I mean, I think I was right behind you when we got off the skimmer.
Yeah. I mean, maybe slightly.
How are TK and Lash arranged in relationship to Luxe?
They're basically right.
Yeah, I think
we're all
I think we're
Like a triangle.
talking together.
And I'm behind them.
So I think because you have a wide view of the area, Viv, you can see that kind of further off to the right from TK, kind of like creeping around, you do see a magical presence, and it seems like it's trying to move further behind the team.
Viv just opens her eyes and waits to hear what else is happening.
So that is a long-winded way of answering the question, who is we?
Got it.
The dwarf speaks again. So now I think this is on you. Hard way or the easy way? Keep in mind, I think we're being pretty nice, considering that your decision to renege on the contract makes us all look bad.
You're aware we have until tomorrow to fulfill the contract.
As I said, your employer has lost their confidence in your intent to fulfill.
How much is she paying you?
Enough to do the job.
I guess I feel like I send a message to our comm saying, to our group chat saying, I guess get ready, get your spells and shit ready.
Get your spells and shit ready.
Lash, get ready to jam a gun. One gun.
Yeah.
You feel the first couple drops of tiny little raindrops.
Are there doves in the background about to start flying?
No, this is not a John Woo?
Yeah.
John Woo. This is not yet a John Woo film.
I mean, if it starts raining, bro, I don't know.
You're also in like an abandoned car park, so we're really like 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah, and again, rain, so.
They're chatting. All right. Talking to each other, I need you to talk to me. We need to know how this is going to shake out right now.
Okay, TK's gonna try charisma. He's gonna be like, all right, yeah, I don't have it. We don't have the stuff. I'm not gonna give it to him. We got to be careful. We have a situation. We've over-leveraged ourselves. We have a deal with Vern. Vern knows us. He knows what we're going to do, or he thinks he knows what we're going to do. And Odina, our deal with her is premised on the fact that we have a deal with Vern, which means we can't give these guys Vern's information. We can't help Moashna.
Roll it.
Yeah, his charisma's 2, by the way, so this is going to be fun.
Viv is not any better. She has
if you'd like to assist with this, I would love that, but I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you have the highest of all of us.
Yep.
Mike, I got an active skill in perception. Can I use that to fight?
Yep.
I will say the important part of the con too is not just like rolling the con. You have to like talk to him, tell him.
Oh
what you want
yeah,
him to
but
think.
TK's trying not to do an elaborate lie because he knows he's not good at it. But he's mustering everything he's ever learned from books.
I love that you're making this effort.
Like TK senses that there's something like things could go very badly.
So should I set you up? Should I be like, look, TK over here has the data. You need to talk to him.
TK definitely doesn't have the data, is what you mean.
No,
yes.
no. But
TK over here. I meant. Sorry. TK over here's the data guy. You'd have to.
Yeah,
talk to him.
I think TK's lie is going to be like he's uploaded the data somewhere that is like a one-time use server because he thought this kind of thing was going to happen, which is a lie. But oof.
I got 5 hits, so you get 5 extra dice.
All right, that makes this respectable.
All right.
Yeah. So TK's going to say, yeah, we got the scan. But I figured this might happen when we decided to part ways with Moashna. So I put it in a little safety deposit box that I cooked up. If anybody tries to access it who's not me, everything goes away. That's 3 hits.
Oh. Ooh. I got 2 hits.
Thank you, Luxe.
He's never met you before. He doesn't have a book on you yet.
No.
Well, if you don't have it here, why don't you tell me where it is?
Can't do that.
I think you should.
Are you going to pull out your gun if I don't?
I might. My comrades might.
I don't have it on me, so I'm not exactly sure where I put it. I can find it.
Me, Taylor the player, is rolling my eyes.
I know.
So
I was just like,
hard.
I'm bad at this.
You don't know where you. Does that bullshit fall under the same role?
Here's what I was going to say. He doesn't know where he put it because
Why? Who are you talking to?
I'm thinking through this. Holy shit, this is difficult. I don't do this.
You got a gun on you.
Well, no, basically he's TK's like, okay, like his reasoning here is like he sent it through like a sort of a Tor-like thing, bouncing between a bunch of different boxes that he has, and he can find the information, but it is like somewhere that is going to take a lot of time, which is again a lie. It's literally like in his like Dropbox.
It's like in the desktop folder.
Yeah, it's like it's not
labeled Vern _scans _final.
He's going to lie and hope that this guy doesn't know what Tor is, and or whatever future Tor looks like.
I'm about to start hacking this Decker.
If TK is saying this, in such a way that everyone who's around can hear it.
Yeah.
This is something that Sunshine,
Yes, I'm aware.
yeah, is very,
Yep.
very suspicious of.
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. That was my next move.
So, I mean, look,
The dwarf says, "Hey, Sunshine. Yeah. You ever heard of a Decker taking information that valuable, throwing it away, and not knowing how to get it back? No. Yeah, me either."
God, I hate her so much.
I love that you do these two different voices. Too. It's
There's a
amazing.
quiet moment. Rain's falling a little bit heavier. You can hear the pitter patter on the metal. And then the dwarf says, "Geek the mage.
Oh, wonderful.
You need to roll will."
Oh, why?
that's what you do.
Okay, my will is 6. Oh shit! 1 hit.
Fuck yes! All right, okay, now you gotta tell me what to do. So,
Did you roll your drain?
no drain.
No drain. I don't know what Taylor did, so we're gonna work our way through it. You got 1 hit.
Yes.
What did you roll, Taylor?
I rolled 5 hits.
On what?
Stun Bolt, which is essentially a sleeping spell.
Yes.
It's a channeling of stun energy directly into a body, also called sleep spells.
Yeah.
When he says Geek the Mage, there's a blur of movement and activity around the corner of a big pile of trash. A little piece of scrap is knocked loose, and a extremely tall, high cheekboned, long, pointed-eared, blue-skinned elf in a shimmering velvet robe turns the corner around this pile of trash, flicks his wrist, and this black iridescent dart of void matter flies through the air and hits Viv square in the back for 4 stun damage.
In that moment, Viv is sort of feeling blissful because there's another magic user around. But of course, it hurts.
Yeah.
But it knocks her forward onto the skimmer.
Okay, easy, everybody.
Oh, now you're saying stuff.
We are now in initiative. Everybody, please roll. You are now leaving Fun City. Thanks for listening. If you want to support the show, get access to ad-free episodes, our Discord, our bi-weekly post-episode chat show, fun, chatty, and more, head to patreon.com/FunCityVentures. And of course, thank you to all of our current patrons for help keeping this ship afloat. If you like the show, you can also give us a rating on iTunes, tell your pals about it, or come say hi to any or all of us on Twitter.
I'm Bijan Steven, and I am TK. You can find me online at Bijan Steven on Twitter, which is BIJANSTEPHEN, or on Instagram, and you should just Google that.
I'm Jen De La Vega. I am Viv. You can find me online at Randwiches. That's the word sandwiches, but just replace the S with an R.
This is Nick Guercio. I play Luxe. You can find me on Twitter at NGUERSH and Instagram at NGuercio, GUERCIO.
This is Shannon Odell. I play Lash Goodbog. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Shodell, SHODELL.
This is Taylor Moore, and I play all the bad boys. I'm at Taylor.biz.
My name is Mike Rugnetta. I am your GM. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mike Rugnetta. You can find the show on Twitter at Fun City Ventures. Fun City was recorded at Fortunate Horse in beautiful Greenpoint, Brooklyn. It was produced, edited, and sound designed by me, Mike Rugnetta. Pixlriffs is our backward-talking English hype beast. All of the show's music is by Sam Tyndall. Our art is by Tess Stone. Our Discord mods are Olivia Goulin, Kit, and Kestrel. And the voice of Artemis is Molly Templeton.